Hey everybody, it's Amr Zahir. And for white people, that's Amr Zar. And during the Arab World Cup, that's Yalla, 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 Yalla. Like you, I've been watching the criticism directed at Qatar during the run-up and now at the World Cup. Now, I know I'm just an Arab, a Palestinian, and according to many white people, apparently uncivilized. Nevertheless, I'd like to point out a few things. Let's start with this. The Arab world deserves a World Cup just as much as anywhere else. The great showing today by Tunisia and the historic win by Saudi Arabia prove this. Even more Arab nations boast a population of 450 million proud people, and there's tens of millions more in the diaspora, including millions in the United States. Arabic is one of the 6 official languages of the United Nations. Arabic is the 3rd most spoken first language in the world, behind Mandarin and Spanish, and tied with English. The language has been the basis for some of the world's most celebrated poetry and music. Habibi and Yalla are maybe the best 2 words ever created in any language. These 2 words alone can sustain at least a 15-minute conversation. Now let's look at some of the highly intellectual criticism directed at these Qatari Arab hosts. When European countries want to ban the hijab in government buildings, they say, you must respect our customs and way of life. When Qatar wants to ban beer in certain spaces, not all spaces, during the World Cup, white people want to start a civil rights movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, we won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. We want beer! Look, here's the deal. A lot of countries have hosted the World Cup. England hosted a World Cup in 1966. Centuries of massacres, domination, and cultural theft of tens of millions of indigenous peoples throughout Asia and Africa. France has hosted 2 World Cups, one in 1938 and one in 1998. The French government massacred 1.5 million indigenous Algerians who fought for their independence. Italy hosted 2 World Cups, one in 1934 when it was literally a fascist country, and one in 1990 when it still hadn't apologized for the colonization of Libya and the deaths of almost 100,000 indigenous Libyans. And America hosted 1 World Cup in 1994 and will host the next one along with Canada and Mexico in 2026. Where do I start with America? Slavery, Native Americans, Tuskegee, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Iraq, Libya, and then $3 billion a year unconditionally to the nation that all the leading human rights organizations in the world have labeled as apartheid. Hey, I just remembered something. South Africa got a World Cup 16 years after it ended apartheid. Israel, are you paying attention? If you stop being all apartheidy tomorrow, we can start the bid right away. I can see it now. World Cup 2038, Palestine. We'll even change the spelling to please everyone. So does Qatar have problems? Yes. Do Arabs have some work to do? Yes. And we are not alone. But you know what? Let's not get into a contest about which nations have been the reason for more suffering, death, and destruction around the world. I don't think you civilized people will like the score. And finally, does Qatar have an issue with respecting the rights and freedoms of gay people? Yes. No matter where, it's wrong to discriminate against people based on their sexual orientation. But I'll tell you what, I also know this. In the last week, the number of gay people targeted and killed in Qatar was 0. The number of gay people targeted and killed in the United States, 5. Habibi, it's no contest. Thanks for watching. No justice, no beer.